Good evening, good
Before we get
evening, or
further,
good morning. Chesca, you're not supposed to talk yet. You're the guest. I haven't even done my Johnny Carson monologue yet. You're throwing off the format. Whatever. Welcome, boys and ghouls and other things that go bump in the night, to the very first episode of the new, better, currently unnamed and untitled and unmastered and only partially recorded DracCast reboot relaunch, phase 2, the next generation, new voyages, whatever you want to call it. I am, of course, your host with the most, Dracmin. And joining me today is resident core page sweetheart and also possible domestic terrorist, Squirrel Girl Core and Onion Core.
it's me, and most of that was true.
Yep, and you get to guess which part.
I'm not a sweetheart.
Yeah, so Chesca, I've decided to have you on as our first guest for the news show that I'm recording here in my evil castle.
That's why you locked me in here today?
Yeah, no, Chesca is a hostage here. I have her it's like the Phantom of the Opera, but with podcasts.
How the tables have turned.
Now I'm just laughing at the idea of Phantom of the Opera, but it's about podcasting. That's the new version of, like, the new update to Phantom of the Opera, like how Phantom of the Paradise was, like, the old update of it.
Yeah.
Chesca, do you want to introduce yourself to anyone who might not know who you are?
Hello. So it is I, Chesca, from the Spore Girl Core page, as well as allegedly the Onion Core page. Unclear if we're the same person. As well as technically the author of Squeeka Chica.
Yeah. Squeeka Chica out now.
Squeeka Chica is technically ongoing. It will be ongoing by the time this releases.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, you'll have won a Pulitzer for it.
That's true. I will have won an Oscar for a webcomic, the first of its kind.
Well, no, you'll have won the second Pulitzer for a comic about mice.
That's true. And the one more deserving.
Yeah. I don't think is Squeeka Chica about the Holocaust, too?
In the deeper sense of things, isn't all media post-1945 about the Holocaust in a way?
I think so. Yeah. Including and especially Harry Potter, although from the other side.
Yeah. Like, man.
Yeah.
That went by too quick.
What?
Do you think J.K. Rowling lost a bet?
I think J.K. Rowling lost the game.
Probably.
Yeah, which so have you now.
Oh no! I forgot which game it was, and now I have lost.
Haha.
I almost won through ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. So, I've decided to turn. Chesca, the plan for this show is this is going to be one of those annoying, like, hype beast alpha male shows you see, like, 5 seconds of a clip on like YouTube Shorts or like TikTok or whatever, depending on what you use, where, like, one guy in sunglasses who's, like, balding and white, and then one guy who's, like, in sunglasses and bald and, like, ethnically ambiguous just yell at OnlyFans girls for, like, an hour.
Okay, so it's what I was born for.
Yeah, so we're gonna get our sunglasses and our t-shirts that make us look more jacked than we are, and we're gonna, like, do fake Andrew Tate. And it's really just a promotional thing for those women's OnlyFans.
Yeah, see, here's the deal. Mm-hmm. I think that women's right to vote was a mistake. But I think that men's right to vote was also a mistake. Bring back the monarchy.
Right.
That is my unironic opinion.
Bring back absolute monarchy, too.
Honestly, re-elect Gaddafi to be president of the United States of America.
I mean, yeah, he had some
pizzazz.
He had swag. I think we can all agree that the man had swag.
I think that if you asked the House if Gaddafi had swag, it would pass unanimously.
Can you imagine getting mogged by Gaddafi?
I
Awful.
can, actually. He could do it.
He looks like the Giga Chad, like when he was young. But yeah, no, so we're gonna have like a table and it's gonna be like a bunch of women who are like OnlyFans models and we're all yelling over each other and I'm going like, why don't you have a real job? What does your father think of this? What's your body count? And you can go like kind of nod along or whatever.
I'd be like, if you need an abacus, I have one here from an earlier bit.
Exactly from before we started recording. Yeah, we're gonna have that one paleontologist who has an OnlyFans account. We're gonna have her on. We're gonna have
one of the white dude celebrities. And you're
Chris.
gonna love it. That's an absolute Russian roulette of a statement.
We're gonna have everyone's favorite male white American celebrity named Chris. Chesca, on the count of 3, we're both going to say, of course, the Chris that it is, okay? 1, 2, 3.
Christopher Walken. Okay, well, this wasn't the same person. Also, Christopher and Chris are two different guys.
Yeah, that's true. And also, Chris Kyle is being informed is dead. He apparently died many years ago. So he can't be on the show.
Man, he shouldn't have booked himself then.
There's a lot of stuff that Chris Kyle shouldn't have done. Chris Kyle is, I don't know if that's the American Sniper guy.
Okay, I honestly thought that Chris Kyle was maybe the dude who made Sonichu. I'm not up to date on my lore. Different guy.
That's Chris Chan.
Jackie's son.
I'm also not sure Chris Chan is a guy. But that's a whole
fair. I'm really late to this party.
First episode of our show, and my show, and we're already talking about Sonichu.
Yeah, it's your show. Don't put the blame on me.
Yeah. Anyways, so I guess I'll move on like a little bit. So kind of part of the idea for this show, folks, is I felt that the core community needed its own talk show, but I felt like a talk show. It's sort of pedestrian. It's sort of pedantic, plebeian, almost, other P words. And I decided that in order to really elevate both the community and the format, I would make this an intellectual and astute show. So I will be only interviewing great philosophers, great thinkers, artists. Think of it, it's like one part inside the actor's studio, one part the McLaughlin Group, one part Charlie Rose, and one part the scene in Blue Velvet where Dennis Hopper does all that gas and beats a woman.
Yeah. Is it specifically Charlie Rose from the grave?
Charlie Rose from the grave. Fuck. You got me. Yeah. And one part, Mark Maron, but only the part where he complains about how much he hates going to the post office.
He's right.
I'm Mark Maron. I fucking hate the post office. That's why I love Theodore Kaczynski. Because he put bombs in the mail. And it would have been a lot easier for him to be the Unabomber. It would have been a lot easier for him to be the Unabomber if he used stamps.com. That's our sponsor for this episode. Yeah. Yeah. Today's sponsor
today's sponsor is Ted Kaczynski.
Mark Maron. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? This works because I think that I look like... Well, you know what? Actually, Mark Maron kind of looks like he could be a vampire a little bit.
I think Mark Maron might be a Canadian thing because we don't have that down here.
I don't think Mark Maron is Canadian.
He might be. I'm sure I would know him. I'm very up to date on popular culture.
You're very... Yeah, like how you know who Kate Bush is and you know who... Mark Maron is from Jersey City, New Jersey.
Okay. So he's like on that show, The Jersey Shore.
Yeah, Mark Maron's one of the Jersey Shore
a modern
guys.
show that's still on today.
Yeah, him and Snooki were doing open mics and uh, getting emails from Dan Ninen and stuff. Yeah, just like shared kind of popular culture stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of popular culture, Chesca, people know you from a lot of different projects that you do.
Mhm.
And of course, you're here to promote your new project, Madam Web.
That is correct, Rackman. So a lot of people, I think, do not understand what Madam Web is, which is
Mhm.
very sad. It's actually a spin-off of the Spider-Man franchise
Mhm.
of films, which I think was lost on a lot of people, but that is why she has, I
Yeah,
assume, spider powers and can
yeah,
see the future like
yeah.
a
Me and Chesca
spider.
were both involved in the making of that movie.
But yeah, I was. That is correct. I was both producer
Yeah,
and key grip for 3 of the scenes of the movie, and I was also
and I was key grip my damn hog. Uh, and I was also escorted off the premises by security for key gripping my damn hog. Every time that Sydney Sweeney would walk by.
that's true. I actually
Yeah,
was there for that. It was a
yeah.
very frightening scene.
Well, you had to have me kicked off as producer.
It's true. And now look at me. I'm tied up in the basement of your dungeon.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's this is what you get. What you get. Speaking of things where people say this is what you get, what you deserve, Mark Maron is in the movie The Joker.
Oh, hey, he plays as the Joker, I assume.
Yeah, he's the Joker. He won an Oscar for that movie, and then gave a speech about being a vegetarian or whatever the fuck. He was in that cult when he was a kid.
Yeah,
Did you know
he
that? By the
was in.
Joaquin Phoenix was in a cult as a child.
Okay, unironically unjerked for a second. I forgot that Jared Leto was not Joker in the Joker movie.
Well, it's easy to get them confused because we're talking about cults, and Jared Leto is a cult leader. So
That's true.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. Here's the deal.
Mhm.
I think that they should switch places for like a couple years.
Okay.
I think that Joaquin Phoenix should be a really good actor in bad movies. I think that Jared Leto should continue to die in as many movies as possible. So actually, maybe they shouldn't trade places. I just described what they're doing now.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jared Leto is not a good actor in bad movies. He's a guy who I think is an okay actor in a couple of good movies, and then a bad actor in everything else,
Yeah,
including a lot of good
I
movies.
always get so sad. The movie that got me into filmmaking is one called Mr. Nobody, where the
Yeah.
plot of the movie is Jared Leto dies like 30 times.
Oh, I know Mr.
And
Nobody.
nowadays, like kids don't even know.
No, I know Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Canadian movie. Of course you know. It's a classic.
Is that movie Canadian?
Yeah, it's Belgian Canadian.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know any
It
Canadian
was made
movies
by a clown.
other than Bon Cop, Bad Cop, or yeah, that's the only. Oh, and the Peanut Butter Surprise.
The Peanut Butter Solution. Oh my god,
Peanut
you're a
Butter
fake
Solution.
Canadian.
You know the Peanut Butter Solution.
I do know that. If you name a movie
Yeah.
that is bad, I've
Okay.
probably seen it. If you name any culture that's relevant, there's no way.
You want to know something crazy about the Peanut Butter Solution?
Yes, I
We
do.
had to watch that in school.
For what?
We watched it in French class. I think it was dubbed. Yeah. 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 It's oh my god. For anyone who hasn't seen it, The Peanut Butter Solution is a movie in Canada. From what I understand, so those movies were made as like a part of a series. Those were all government funded, like subsidized movies that were supposed to be made. And then what they would do, from what I understand, uh, took those books or took those movies and they adapted them into books. And you would read the book in school and then you would watch the movie. But we only read like one of the books and then we just watched like a bunch of the movies because my teacher didn't really care.
Really?
This was in middle school. So yeah, we didn't read the Peanut Butter Solution, but we watched the Peanut Butter Solution. The Peanut Butter Solution, though, is a movie about a little boy who goes into a haunted house. I think. And
Yeah,
he
he
gets.
goes into a house where like several homeless people die in a fire,
Right.
and he gets scared so much that he goes bald, which is the main conflict of the movie.
Yeah.
And he has to use, get this, a peanut butter solution
Mhm.
to become unbald
Yeah.
because a pack of ghosts and instruct him on the secret magic.
Exactly.
So naturally, what happens is he gets so hairy
Hmm.
that like he has magic hair that's like 10 feet long,
Yeah.
and his little buddy has to like cut
Hmm.
throughout the day or he'll die.
Doesn't he get kicked out of school because his hair won't stop growing?
Yeah, he gives like a speech about how he wants to be educated. Everyone claps, and he's like expelled
Yeah.
because his hair is too long,
Yeah.
and he's creating a commotion.
Hmm. Yeah, and then his dad in it is Michael Hogan from Battlestar and Smallville and the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Hogan's Heroes. He's in Hogan's Heroes.
Yeah, he's in,
He
yeah,
plays Hogan.
he's Hogan. He's also Hulk Hogan. He's a Canadian actor. He's in Skyrim. He's in Fallout New Vegas. Yeah, he's a legend. I love Michael Hogan. But yeah, he's in that movie, and then the kid's sister is like the caretaker because their mom's dead.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
that.
but then the thing that's important anyway is the kid's hair gets kidnapped, just much like I've kidnapped you, and
That's
they
true.
turn
We've
his
come full
they
circle.
turn his hair into paintbrushes. That when you paint them, you can go into the painting. I think.
Yeah, it's actually a prequel to Super Mario 64.
It's actually a movie. It's actually a prequel to Superman for the Quest for Peace.
That's also true. They're all like one cinematic universe.
Well, it's like my fact that I learned very recently, which is that every movie that's ever won Best Picture is set in one cinematic universe.
Oh, is that true?
Yep. And every time a movie wins Best Picture, it's added retroactively to that universe.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see the vision.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing I kind of wanted to talk about, speaking also of your involvement. Now, obviously, you were in the movie Madam Web, but I wanted to sort of know more accurately what drew you to the core community, and more broadly than that, what drew you to comics?
Ooh, those are both very good questions.
Yeah.
So, what drew me to the community is I was a weird, nerdy loser,
Mhm.
and I was involved in the community until I got doxxed, not as a page, just as like someone who liked one of the pages. I'm not going to name the page
Yeah.
because
No, I know
I
this.
was not sponsored
I
and
know this whole
no
story.
free clout.
Yeah, no, they gotta pay me.
Oh yeah, that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this episode was not sponsored by any cores,
No.
and if you want to be sponsored by a core, you can send me money directly, not to Drachman, but to me. I will
Chesca, yeah.
send it along.
Yeah.
Yeah, please send me money.
Mhm.
But yeah, I dropped out of the community for a while because I was doxxed at work and accused of terrorism, which went into my permanent file, and not even for anything I actually did for once, which is what made it very offensive.
Mhm.
And I don't know. So I was laying low for a while, and then I got back into it. I became very good friends with Punchline Core, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, create a page." I was like, "All right," and I did, and now it's all that I do.
And speaking of Punchline Core, Kay is the OnlyFans girl we're gonna yell at.
That is
Yeah.
true. She's going to be in the next episode, but she's going to be silent as women should be,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
This is my unironic opinion.
Yeah. And just as a reminder for anyone who doesn't know, Chesca is a woman, but she's allowed to talk.
Yeah, I got the pass.
She got no pass. Yeah. Okay. Well, what drew you to like comics and stuff more broadly? Because obviously you're a squirrel.
So Yeah, I didn't used to be. That's actually pretty recent. I think, to be honest, I got really into comics from my dad, who is also like a huge nerd. He read like all the old serials back when they were first like coming out. He had
Right.
been around for that long. Like
Mm.
he was really into like stuff like Doc Savage and
Nice.
X-Men, things like that. Like he's always been
Yeah.
like in the
Your
trenches
dad's
of
Charlton posting.
nerd culture since like he is actually Charlton
Yeah.
posting.
Your dad's Charlton posting,
He
and
was
your
like,
mom is Jessica Jones core because they both love Doc Savage.
that one's real. They both love Doc Savage that
Yeah.
much. But yeah, I got really into physical comics through Spider-Man. I
Mm.
got an action figure once that had like, oh, you can get a 12-month subscription to Marvel Adventures
Oh
Spider-Man
yes.
for the low cost of, yeah, it was so nice.
Oh yeah.
But I think I really got into comics at, and specifically, I mean, you've probably seen me post about like random ass like 90s characters no one has cared about in 30 years,
Yeah.
and that is because a lot of my comics experience comes from a antique shop kind of near me,
Right.
where they just have like a loose pile of forgotten 90s comics that you could buy. But I didn't. I was a child, and I would just pick them up and read them.
Yeah.
So I got really into like Guardians of the Galaxy, but not the good one,
Yeah.
and
The
Sleepwalker,
original.
who, yeah, where it's like Captain America with a mullet, a furry, a thick, short king,
I would honestly argue that
a
that is the good
blue
Guardians of the
archer.
Galaxy.
That's fair. I
Yeah.
think that like if you put them in a movie, it would suck. But if you put them
They
in a
are in a
movie in the
movie.
'70s, it would be. Yeah, but like not.
Yeah.
But like it's not about them.
No, they're just in the Guardians movies, but they're not the same for those
Yeah, they
movies.
just like, what if we made the Starjammers less cool?
Yeah, and they just had the names of the guys from the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like they're not
So,
really.
and then there's other stuff like I got really into Punisher 2099 actually.
Hell yeah.
That was a huge thing. One of my first ever characters was straight up just Punisher 2099, but in a noir setting in the future.
That sounds sick.
He was like, yeah, he
Yeah.
was just like this insane guy who would take out crime, and he was also the bad guy.
Mhm.
And I was like 12 when I wrote him.
That's what every 12-year-old wrote when they were trying to get into like trying to write comics was
Yeah, just Punisher 2099.
yeah, they would like it was like Punisher, it was like the Punisher in the future, or it would be like I haven't read or seen Watchmen, but like I think it's like this. So like
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that was
got
part of it
into
too.
Watchmen really early as
Yeah.
well.
Well, I remember the movie
A
coming.
lot of my culture, yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't see it because I was a kid, like when it first came out, but I knew
Mm.
of it.
It's kind of weird. I got into Watchmen through really crazy means. So my entire life and culture was determined by like the YouTube algorithm while I was like hiding in my band teacher's office during like school when I didn't want to like show up, basically. I would watch like spooky things in video games. Like when I was a kid, I used to like hide in the like band lab, basically, which is just like a 4 foot by 4 foot room with a bunch of folders in it, and watch like Grand Theft Auto cryptozoology videos where people like go Bigfoot hunting in unmodded San Andreas, where there just physically is not Bigfoot to hunt. And so they would just be like, look at this
Yeah.
pixel. This could have been Bigfoot if you look closely.
Yeah.
But through an insane set of circumstances, I got like radicalized into being a liberal.
Right.
And from there, I got really into Watchmen.
Yeah. No, I had a similar thing because I remember I was like a slightly sheltered kid. And I got into we had a computer and I used it. But I remember the first time I think I ever used YouTube was I wanted to know if they were going to make an Incredible Hulk 2. So I looked up Incredible Hulk 2, and I think a fan trailer for the Incredible Hulk 2 came out. And so for a long time I would watch like fake trailers for movies that like didn't exist or that like hadn't come out yet. And like yeah, I knew they were fake, but like I would just watch them anyway. And I remember really enjoying that whole sphere, like as like a little kid. And actually, a lot of those were comics related. Thinking back to it, there was a guy I remember named Edit Ninja who did like fan trailers for like hypothetical Marvel movies that most of which have had to have now come out, but at the time had not.
He was a visionary.
Yeah, and the one I remember distinctly, well, the two I remember distinctly is he did a 1602 fan trailer where he just
Ooh,
took scenes from movies that Marvel actors had been in that were set in like the past, and
okay.
that was it. And this was also like I think this is yeah, I'm like a little kid, so like this is pre like the Avengers movie coming out. Like I think maybe at most Iron Man 2 had come out.
Oh, so this was early,
Um
early.
early. And then I remember also he did my favorite thing remembering, and I think about this all the time because it's so funny to me, is that he did a fan trailer for Doctor Strange like a decade or whatever before Doctor Strange came out. Um, and guess who he fan casted as Doctor Strange?
There's no way it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, it was Robert Downey Jr. And in the description, I
Well, it's
remember him
honestly
being,
what he's doing anyway.
yeah, I remember in the description he was like, look, I know he's already Iron Man, but hear me out. He would be even better as Doctor Strange.
The crazy thing is, like, Benedict Cumberbatch is 100% just doing, like,
Yeah,
Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, but a wizard.
I like him as Doctor Strange, I'll be honest. I think he's good at it, but he is 100%. And his American accent is really fun.
Yeah.
Because he's like, hi, I'm Doctor Strange. I'm an American.
Yeah, it's very overdone.
We've definitely talked about this, Chesca, but have you seen the Star Trek movie he's in?
I have not. I need to.
Okay.
I've only seen Into Darkness.
That's the one he's in.
What's the other one? I've seen the other one. Like the
There's
third one.
well, there's like a million, but the third one is Beyond, which is the one with Idris Elba.
That's the one I've seen.
Okay, that one's fun. I liked Beyond. I thought that was a fun movie. Um, no, so yeah, he's in the second one, which is Into Darkness, and he plays Khan, and that
Okay.
is the
You
worst
mean like
casting.
Ricardo Montalban?
Yeah, yeah, that is the worst casting in any movie I've maybe ever seen.
That is very bad.
Because Khan is not even in a like it's racist kind of way, more in just like he doesn't. When you tell me that there's a super soldier named who's like the strongest man ever, and his name is Khan Noonien Singh, and then you show him and it's Benedict Cumberbatch. Fuck you.
It feels
Fuck
like you're being
you.
punked.
Yeah, and they did this bullshit too, where they tried to fake it out and make it so that you wouldn't know it was Khan, like in the trailers, like they wouldn't say
Mm.
that it was Khan, and they kept denying that Khan was going to be in the movie, and so everybody thought that Benedict Cumberbatch was going to be Gary Mitchell, who's a different Star Trek character, and then the movie comes out, and his name is just like John Hamilton or something, and then like not even halfway through the movie, like maybe way too early into the movie, he's like, "My name is Khan Noonien Singh," and you're like, "Oh well, okay, fuck you." Like that's stupid. That's really dumb. Um, yeah, no, it's bullshit.
That line was
It
actually
really is.
ad libbed.
Yeah, I was gonna say we now have had an actual Indian person play Khan, in in something more recently, but it took a long
Nice.
time.
What if like they didn't intend for it to be Khan and the line was just ad libbed and they had to work around it?
Yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch really wanted to be Khan. And then he started doing the Mind Palace thing from Sherlock. And everyone was like, "Oh, that guy's that's a homeless guy on crack. We need to leave him alone."
Yeah, it's true. I was there. This was on the way to the dungeon.
Yeah. So, Chesca, did you ever watch Inside the Actors Studio with James Lipton?
I have never seen that.
So, much like James Lipton, I was also a French pimp in my younger years. And so I decided that I would sort of carry on that legacy by introducing what's called the pivot questionnaire, which was invented by or I don't even know if it was invented by him, a guy named Bernard Pivot, who's some French guy. So I figured I would ask a couple of the questions from that. This was devised, I believe, in like the 60s or 70s. It's both like a conversation starter. Profundity can come from it too, and I think it's just a good way to format our discussions. So, would you rather have 500K or dinner with Jay-Z?
I'd say 500K. Here's why. I can buy so many dinners with 500K.
Yeah, but not with Jay-Z.
I didn't think about that part. I was only thinking of the dinner part. I did not consider the Jay-Z aspect.
Yeah, you can sit across from him and go like, "Wow, Jay-Z, I love eating the I love eating the pizza from Ninja Turtles with you." And then him
I
going
love eating this pile of raw, undercooked beef.
Yeah, and he goes like, H to the is O, H to the is A, put your damn hands up. Like that.
I think I'm going with the 500K, actually.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to hear him list monsters? As he famously
Is he going to list monsters?
You've heard that song, right?
I don't think I have.
Oh my god. Chesca, no. So there's a Kanye song. Folks, we may have to take a brief break so I can make Chesca listen to this.
We will be right back. That was amazing. I love that he was going for it and then he ran out.
Yeah. No, because the song's called Monster. And the song is not about monsters. It's just Kanye bragging about how he's like a monster on these beats. And then like all these different rappers being like, "Yo, I'm like a monster the way I'm killing this shit." And then Jay-Z is just like, "Chupacabra, werewolf, Cthulhu, the Babadook." Yeah.
King Kong. King Kong Skull Island.
Yeah. Elden Ring bosses.
Spring Heel Jet.
Bosses. Yeah. Yeah.
Mongolian Deathworm.
The Sarlacc Pit.
Call me the Mongolian Deathworm the way I spit acid.
Call me the Mongolian Deathworm the way that I shock you with my flows. Hova.
Call me the Mongolian Deathworm the way I came from underground and now I'm killing it.
Yo! Yeah, we got to start doing. We got to make this like what's that podcast where they make everyone freestyle? We got to make it like that. Yeah. So no, that's a good answer there. That you would take the 500K.
Yeah.
I like to remind people that is on the Pivot questionnaire, which was written by French talk show host Bernard Pivot, who's like 90 years old now. Next question, Chesca, what's your favorite word?
Oh, geez, that's a hard one.
Okay.
What is my favorite word? I need to get inside this Pivot guy's mind. What was he thinking when he wrote this?
You don't want to do that. I'm just straight up. I looked him up yesterday. You don't want to do that.
I'm going to get inside his actor studio.
No, Chesca. He famously was canceled for defending like multiple pedophiles.
Oh, well, see, here's the deal. I feel like we can all forgive one, but once you get to multiple, it's a problem at that point.
Well, he's French, right? That's
Yeah,
like
you get like a
he and
pass for the first one when you're
one of
French.
one of the guys. He also got in trouble because he like invited because he would invite all these like French intellectuals on his show. His show's a lot like mine, like this one here, where it's a really
Hmm.
elevated intellectual talk show. And one of the guys he had on was the guy who created the Great Replacement theory,
Oh.
who was also like while he was on the show, he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, I love pedophilia." Yeah, Pivot.
Yeah. It's
And then
like, hey, I
Pivot
just
was
asked
like,
what your favorite word is.
"Yeah," Pivot was like, "Dude, I just wanted to know what your favorite word was." But yeah, what's your favorite word? Gun to your head right now.
Onomatopoeia.
Nice. My favorite word is money because I'm all about that cash. All I do is count the cash.
That's so true.
What's your least favorite word?
Okay, listen, when I was but a child, it was
Mhm.
revealed to me that there was evil hidden in the word colonel. That's my
Yeah.
answer.
Why Colonel?
I just explained it to you that when I was but a wee child, it
Oh,
was
it
revealed to
was
me that evil
revealed
was
yeah,
contained in the word. Yeah, it was a revelation upon me.
like a popcorn kernel or like a colonel in the army.
Like a colonel in the army, otherwise known as a colonel.
Yeah, in Canada before so there's the movie theater chain in Canada which is called Cineplex. And before all the movies, they play these little CGI animations of a bunch of popcorn pieces and their adventures. And their leader is the Colonel.
That's actually pretty cool. I take it back.
Whenever
Colonels
those
are
ads
okay now.
on everyone in the theater started booing because we all fucking hate those guys.
We will
Yeah,
microwave you in effigy.
yeah, because it's like their whole thing is they're like pieces of popcorn, and we're all eating popcorn, and it's like, well, I'm gonna think about eating these guys.
What if it was all like a long con to get you to buy more popcorn out of hate?
It's like the it's like the M&Ms. How like the M&M ads were always about how people wanted to eat the M&Ms.
I feel like there is an allure to cannibalism.
I feel like you might be right.
That
Have any like QAnon type people started saying that like the M&M ads were like somehow tied into like QAnon because like the M&Ms are small like children and like people want to eat them. And it's like how the Democrats are stealing the blood of children and drinking it.
But here's the thing, though. They also got really mad when the M&Ms stopped being so damn sexy. So I don't
That's
know if you could really
true.
make that an argument.
Yeah, I think Cineplex should make the popcorn kernel sexy.
They really should.
I can get a Pee Wee Herman charge.
You're gonna bring the Dune 2 popcorn bucket in just to see the Colonel.
Do you see the Ghostbusters popcorn bucket?
No, is it worse?
Uh, no, it's okay. I say that. Imagine you like open it up and it's just like a Slimer sex toy. Like it's just Slimer, but he has like a fleshlight attached to it.
Yeah, it's just a full plug.
Yeah. No, it's actually it's just like the Ghostbusters, the Ghost Trap.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah. But it like yeah. Speaking of Ghostbusters, do you like that movie?
So I've only ever seen the bad one. I saw like the Bill Murray original when I was 3, and then I
Okay.
saw the Melissa McCarthy one when it came out, and did not like it very much.
No, it's not very good. You gotta
It's,
watch the
yeah,
original again.
I
It's
probably
good.
ought to. I
It's
I have a
good.
death vendetta against Bill Murray.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Not a big Garfield fan?
Here's the deal. I think Garfield was the pinnacle of his career, and everything else since then has been such a betrayal to his fans. Where
Mm.
is Garfield 2 with Bill Murray?
There is a Garfield 2 with Bill Murray.
I did not think this bit through very well.
A Tale of Two Kitties.
That's true. I forgot that he gave that to us, the people.
Yeah, and then Tim Curry is also in that movie.
My character arc across this podcast is forgiving Bill Murray.
Yeah, well, you don't. I think he is like famously kind of a piece of shit, so you probably don't have to.
Okay. I'm
Um,
I'm going to forgive him for not making Garfield 2.
right.
I'm not going to forgive him for being an asshole.
Quick shout out, by the way, speaking of Garfield, to John Cohen, film producer John Cohen. John Cohen is our guy. We ride or die for John. Um, John is officially a member of the Grant Gang. I'm declaring that right now. John Cohen is he is the producer on the new Garfield movie. But
Okay.
he liked one of my posts on Instagram.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
which I don't
I have
think.
something right here called the Pivot Questionnaire, actually.
I
It's
think
like the
that's the same
Pavot
thing.
Questionnaire. Well, yes, but this one's American. What is
Okay,
the Grant Gang?
the Grant Gang. That is my squad that I ride with. We love
Okay.
Ulysses S. Grant, and we hate who's that other Civil War general?
Robert Ely.
Well, we don't like him. We love Grant, big fans of Grant. We don't like McClellan.
Yeah.
McClellan, he's our ops. He's our op. Uh, but yeah, we ride or die for Grant. Speaking of rat beef, we were kind of talking about it before, Chesca, and I thought I would circle back around to it before we started recording, because we were talking about Dorian Electra earlier, and
That is true. We were talking
I
about that.
mentioned I mentioned Uncle Adams. Speaking of like rat beef, so Uncle Adams, in case you don't know, and I don't think you do. Uncle
I
Adams
do
is this
not.
guy. So Uncle Adams, I think it starts in like the Kanye shit posting Facebook group or something like that. This is years ago. I'm in high school when this happens, and people keep posting like musicians who are posting their music onto YouTube or onto Facebook, like promoting it. That's also where like Tom McDonald gets discovered.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I
So
managed to stay on
Uncle
the
Adam,
farm.
so Uncle Adams is kind of like he's like the Mario to like Tom McDonald's Wario.
Okay.
If Wario was like a horrible racist and a grifter, and Mario is just like some guy. So Uncle Adams is this
You
Canadian
just
rapper.
described Wario and Mario.
I guess, yeah, yeah. Don't ask Wario his thoughts on the Rwandan genocide. Um, so or Rhodesia, actually, for that matter. Do not ask him about Rhodesia. Wario looks like a character that you would see on like some kind of Rhodesian product. Like someone would post it on like Reddit and they'd be like, look at this weird thing I found from Rhodesia. And it would be like Wario and he'd be promoting like saltines or something like that. Or like a knockoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, uh and then there'd be like a bunch of dudes who were like 55 in the comments being like, I used to love these when I was a kid. When I lived in Rhodesia. So anyway, Uncle Adams was he was like this Albertan white guy. He's like young and he like wanted to be a rapper. And his like he wanted to be like a motivational, inspirational rapper for kids who would rap about like depression and anxiety. And
Okay.
he posted all of these like these songs that he would do that were very weird and calculated and like not well done at the same time. So like he had a song called Original, which was about how he's not like other rappers because he's classy. And he wears a top hat and a suit. And it was an electro
Okay.
swing song, which is
Oh
probably the
no.
worst genre of music. Yeah. And then like he had like another song that was about how he's not Eminem and he's not Macklemore. He's Uncle Adams and he's winning all the rap awards.
Oh no.
And stuff like that. And he had a song about how he's a '90s kid, very like Facebook rapper from Canada. Yes. And there's this whole saga happens because like somehow Anthony Fantano finds this, and he and the like anti SJW YouTuber Chris Raygun, or I think probably former anti SJW YouTuber. He's probably just like a normal guy now. Chris Raygun did like a reaction video to it, and like made fun of it, and then Uncle Adams got mad and kept calling Anthony Fantano the needle dick, and saying like that he was like gonna beat him up and stuff, and then they ended up squashing the beef. And Uncle Adams has this like weird redemption arc where everyone likes him because he's like kind of in on the bit, but then he does the thing where he tries to like embrace the meme, and it just like kind of isn't funny anymore.
Yeah.
And he gets caught commenting on women's pictures saying that they have cute toes, and like he keeps getting caught in these weird situations where he's talking about how like he like where he just says weird shit in public to people. It's not even like creepy, he's just like doesn't know basic things. It's very strange. And anyway,
So he's like
somehow
me, but on purpose.
I don't know if it's on purpose. I think he's just out there. People find old songs that he he made from before he wanted to be like a motivational rapper, where he's like swearing and talking about like fucking bitches and like says slurs. Um
Oh.
yeah, one of the songs is a diss track called Hey, word that starts with an F that I'm not allowed to say, and stuff like that. And he's like young when he does all that, so he can kind of be forgiven. He seems like a fairly like, liberal progressive guy. I think he's like an NDP voter. I don't know.
Okay.
But by the way, that's the most liberal man in Alberta. Is guy who used to say slurs, doesn't anymore. But anyway, yeah. So the point is somehow like 100 geeks find this guy and play him on like one of their like Snapchat stories or something, and then
Okay.
he ends up on a Dorian Electra song, like a remix of like
Uh-oh. Okay.
Gentleman, I think, by Dorian Electra.
That is a good song.
And then it gets posted, and then in order to brag about it, Uncle Adams posts this fucking like video that he made with this app he downloaded where you can put your face on a GIF. But he put his
Okay.
face on like some rapper's body, and so it like looked like he was doing blackface. Like really
Oh no.
looked like he was doing blackface. And then Dorian Electra like blocked him on social media and like took him off the remix and like buried it. So you can only find it like bootlegged now, I think, like, on YouTube and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And he's just disappeared. He hasn't done anything yet. He kept talking about he was going to make a transition and making hyperpop, weight loss videos, and videos on how to quit smoking. And like, I don't know, man. He was just this weird figure on the internet, but he gave me a laugh. No, I mean he's a funny guy. By the way, this is an open invitation for Unc to come on the show.
Honestly,
He got
God,
into
Uncle
like
Adams does sound like a vampire name.
yeah, he got into it was Uncle with a K too, because it was like he's a '90s kid.
Right.
He's a Rob Liefeld character. Um, yeah, he got into a rap beef with a Mormon rapper at one point named Colby something. I don't know. Man, it was a weird era on the internet. That was like pre me joining the core community, but like post me getting back into like using Facebook, ironically. Chesca, next question on the Pivot questionnaire. Would you rather have a gay son or a thought daughter?
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
I've thought about this. I've been asked this before by people
Okay.
from all walks of life. People say everywhere I go, which would you
Mhm.
pick, gay son or thought daughter?
Yeah.
And every time I give a different answer because I've been in so many situations. I have
Mhm.
met in my mini travels so many gay sons and thought daughters, and vice versa. I've seen every
Yeah.
walk of life that there is to see. But here's the deal. I think I could train a thought daughter to help me in my crimes. Whereas if I had a gay
Mhm.
son, he would just not be interested. You know what I mean? He would be
Yeah.
off doing gay activities that I'm just not able to keep up with. But a thought daughter could help me like rob gas stations, which I think is
Yeah.
useful.
Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing. Obviously, I'm a progressive. I'm a good, decent man. I'm one of the good ones,
Mm-hmm.
ladies. Hit me up, uh, if you out there. Um, so I would be perfectly happy with either, or I'd be happy with a. I'd even be happy with a gay daughter and a thought son, or a
Oh
non-binary.
wow, look at
Either of
you.
those.
Look at you not making a
But
choice.
but if I had to choose, Cheska, I think I would
Mhm.
choose the thought daughter, and for sort of different reasons than you do. I think it'd be very difficult to father and raise a daughter because of how horrible institutional misogyny in our society is. Ladies, by the way, hit me up. Um, and how hard it is for women in our world. My DMs are always open. However, if I had a gay son, he would make fun of me for dressing bad.
Oh, that is true. That is
Yeah,
true.
that's really what it comes down to. Is I don't want a kid who's better at dressing.
That is actually very true. I also think, like, as a Dracula personality, a thought
Yeah,
daughter is kind of on
that's more
brand.
that's more
Actually,
classic
she could,
Dracula.
yeah, like she could carry
Yeah.
on the tradition and your namesake and your legacy better than a gay
Mhm.
son could. Because a gay son is
Yeah.
going to be like modern vampire.
Well, but Dracula kind of has both, right? Because like there's Mavis from Hotel Transylvania, there's Draculaura, there's I don't know if they're thoughts necessarily. There's Lilith from
Oh,
Marvel.
this man's making
Uh,
assumptions.
Lilith Dracula. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't know, Cheska. And by the way, if you are a thought, I'm okay with that. Obviously. In fact, I love it, and you should DM me right now your location, your coordinates, using nautical terminology, like it's a game of Battleship.
Send me a map.
Yeah, send me a map that you made on Incarnate, the map making software, so that I know where you are. Make like a fantasy style D&D, J.R. Tolkien s kind of map of your location. Um, so But on the other hand, Dracula also has a gay son, which is of course Alucard from Castlevania.
That is true.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess Vampire Hunter D as well is I guess kind of also a Drac son. You ever go to Drac's
That's so
son,
true.
the skateboarding store in the mall for vampires?
You've lost me on that one. That might be another Canadian thing.
It's definitely not. It's a I forgot that you live in like central Mongolia, basically. So
Yeah, I
yeah.
live 100 miles away from the nearest neighbor.
Have you ever been to a mall, or is that a thing you've only heard about in fairy tales?
I've heard tell of. I think I've seen them. I've been to a mall. I've been to a mall.
Okay.
There's one up in the big city, and by big city I
Right.
mean like 10,000
It's
people
like
live there.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I lived in
Yeah,
a mall,
and
so
in the local metropolis area,
mhm,
there is a mall that I've been to. It has like four shops. It
mhm,
has like, well, this one's gone. It used to have a comic shop. That's gone now. You can buy
yeah.
pretzels, wedding
Mhm,
rings, Rick and Morty T-shirts.
right.
There's like one of those coin-operated dolphins.
Okay. Yeah. That's like the one near my house as well. But that's kind of what like I think all malls are becoming. Yeah, and actually, speaking of things that are only existed in stories you've heard, next question on the Pivot questionnaire: what's your top three goat fairy tale characters of all time? Your top three.
Fa- Fairy tale characters of all time. My top three.
Yeah, the
Okay,
goats.
number one, the goats. My top three goats.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like greatest of
so
all time.
oh, okay. I was gonna say
Your
the
three
one
Billy
from
Guff,
Hunchback of Notre Dame.
your three Billy Gruff goats.
Yeah, the one from Hoodwinked is number
Okay.
one. All day,
Yeah.
he's always prepared. The one from Hunchback of Notre Dame is a real one for forever. He's my
That's
boy.
not a fairy tale though.
It's close. It's a Disney movie.
Fine. It's by Victor Hugo though, so I think that's too new. It's like calling Alice in
Yeah,
Wonderland a
but
fairy
he's
tale.
okay. Fair. Then I take him off the list. Goat number three, an extra from the Three Little Pigs story. He doesn't have any lines,
Okay.
but he's there to
Yeah.
like kind of expand the lore of the world.
Right. And then the goat from
And
the
then,
witch.
well, the witch isn't a fairy tale that just came out this year.
Didn't come out this year.
It came out in the past 2 years. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's like a Robert Eggers movie, I think, right?
Yeah. The
Yeah.
only Robert Eggers I assume is a fairy tale is Humpty Dumpty, whose real name was Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers is also doing Nosferatu, which is also not a fairy tale.
Yeah, Robert Eggers did fall off of a wall. That's canon to his lore. Okay, my three all-time favorite fairy tale characters, greatest of all times. I don't know. This is one that never gets adapted, which is so sad to me. There's like the country doctor from Death's Apprentice. It's one of the lesser-known Grimm stories where basically there's this like old beggar man and he has a son. He's like, I'm gonna die soon. I need a mythical figure. I need a religious figure to hand my son to because I don't trust orphanages, right? So he's like, I could give him to the devil, but
Yeah.
that would suck. The devil's a bad guy. I wouldn't want that for my son. But he's also like, I can't give my son over to the Lord, the Christian God, because
Right.
he also kind of sucks. If you think about it, he has laid to waste my life, and he has offered no salvation for us sinners. Therefore, the Grim Reaper's over here. He is going to raise my son. That's the prologue to this story.
Okay.
So the Grim Reaper raises this son as his own boy, right? And the boy grows up to be like a country doctor. And he's so good at being a doctor because, and this is true, the Grim Reaper will sit at like the head. I don't remember exactly which side. The head of the patient's bed if they're going to die, and the feet of the bed if the patient is going to live. And the doctor always knows which one's going to die and which one's not because he has that extra insight. So he falls in love with one of his patients in a blatant violation of Hippocratic Oath. And Death's like, this lady's going to die. And he's like, the Grim Reaper doesn't know I know this trick. He's like winking at the camera. And in the middle of the day, he gets her bed and he flips it around 180 degrees. So the Grim Reaper gets confused and sits at the wrong end of the bed, and she lives. And Death is like, well, damn, what a nasty trick you pulled on me, my adopted son. I'm going to kill you. And the son's like, no, don't do that. And he just kills him.
Damn.
And his wife.
No, don't kill yourself.
That's just how it ends.
Sexy.
Don't kill me, Grim Reaper. You're so sexy. Aha. And he just does. And that's how it ends.
Yeah.
Country doctor.
Hypocrisy, that's when your country's run by a hippopotamus, right?
That is actually very true.
Yeah. It's like an autocrat.
That happened once in Thailand for 25 years.
Yeah. Do you know that there was actually, I read this, like there was a plan to like import hippos into like Florida or something like that? Like try to introduce them there as like an indigenous life form, like an invasive
That's
species.
amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess question on the Pavot questionnaire. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
So spiritually, okay, so here's the deal. I think people misunderstand. I want to clear the air on something here. I think people misunderstand my complex relationship to onions. I'd like to
Okay.
kind of get this out of the way, dispel some of the nasty rumors that have been floating around about
Mhm.
myself and my character.
Yeah.
It has to be symmetrical.
The onion.
The onion, when you cut it,
Yeah.
there has to be like a divine symmetry in there, and that just
Right.
like blows my mind. I cut an onion once at for those who are new to the channel. I cut an onion once at undisclosed gas station where I worked. There are onions there, if that narrows it down for you, and it was so beautiful. It was such a beautiful experience, and I was also so unmedicated that it was as if a message from the Lord of Heaven. And I believed that for 2 years, and then I got in therapy, and things have been better from there. But man, oh man, when I see a symmetrical onion that's been cut, it's like Christmas Day every
Oh, they're
time.
beautiful. They make me cry. That's how beautiful they are. They make me cry.
People think it's the acid or the. I actually do not know what chemicals exist in an onion. I'm out of
Go
my
on.
element here. People think it's the vapors, but it's actually the Lord
Oh
entering your
Lord, I'm
heart.
coming down with a touch of the vapors. I got a
It's
touch of the
true.
vapors, darling. Get me a lemon coke. The Drac
But
the
yeah,
DracCast players present Tennessee Williams, the A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, adapted for radio by Drachman, starring Chesca as I've never seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I don't know the names of the characters. Starring
I was the cat.
yeah. Uh, Fine. The DracCast players present the streetcar named Desire, starring Chesca as Stella and
And Jackman as the
Drachman
streetcar.
as the guy they keep calling Pollock throughout the whole thing, the Marlon Brando character. Um, that's a great story because like that's back when you know like theater was in this weird place where like theater had been like about like it'd been Shakespeare and then it'd been Shaw. And it's very like historical and all this shit, and then you have like modernist and postmodern theater where it's like, oh my god, this guy is crazy. We're waiting for Godot. Oh, it doesn't mean anything. And then Tennessee Williams was like, hello, I am Tennessee Williams. I have trauma. I'm gay. My sister was neurodivergent, and I'm new in town. And he writes that, and all his plays are just like, what if it like fucking sucked to live in the South?
The only Tennessee Williams thing I've ever
Mhm.
read is Desire and the Black Masseur, where a guy who has white
Mhm.
guilt goes to a Black Masseur to have him beat the shit out of
Wow.
him until one day he's like, "You should cannibalize my body piece by piece," and that's just what the story is.
I heard that Macklemore is going to do that on his next album. That's what that
He
song.
should. He should
That's what that
actually.
song, "White Guilt" or "White Privilege" by Macklemore was about.
That's what Thrift Shop was about. It's about how he's going to donate all of his remains to
Do you think there
Goodwill.
was a? Do you think like anyone ever played "White Privilege" by Macklemore at a bar mitzvah?
Here's the thing. Here's
Mhm.
the thing. I have such a weird relationship to Macklemore
You have a
as a person.
relationship with Macklemore?
Because yeah, me and Macklemore, we go
You and
way
Macklemore
back.
used to
We go way
yeah, you used to
Macklemore.
be a couple.
Yeah, I used to be Ryan Lewis.
Sam Love was actually written about you and Macklemore's romance.
This is
Yeah,
actually true.
I was gay. I thought it was in the third grade. Turns out I wasn't. I was Chesca.
Yeah, fun fact, the reason he thought he was gay in the third grade, but then I came out and he's like, "Oh, no,
It's
it
just
just
like,
took a
man,
minute."
I'm good. Whew. I
That was a
thought I was
close
gay
one.
there. I should make a song about this.
Yeah, that's the story. Um, the saxophonist on Thrift Shop, that was also me.
Yeah.
I was pulling double duty on that song. I have actually 2 Grammys sitting on my
Yeah.
shelf
That
right
song,
now.
it's crazy that the first line in that song, like verse wise, is walk into the club like, what up? I got a big cock. That's such a weird thing for Macklemore to say. Even if he's telling the truth, it's insane.
It's like the bouncer's like, yeah, that's great. Are you on the list?
You're
And it's like, it's me, Macklemore. He's like, that does not
you're
mean
like a
yes.
white guy with like a Richard Spencer haircut in thrifted clothes. I don't think you're allowed in the club, man. And he's like, no, it's cool. I'm with Ryan Lewis.
I was like, oh no, don't worry, he's with me. Chesca, canonically, Ryan
Yeah,
Lewis.
yeah. Well, Chesky, you're on the guest list for like basically every pub and club in New York.
That is true, but only New York. I'm banned everywhere else.
Remember when he won a Grammy and then he wrote a text message apologizing to Kendrick for winning the Grammy, and then he posted the text message on Instagram to be like, "Hey, everyone, look, I said I'm sorry to a black guy for winning an award."
An award which, I must remind you, he lost to
Yeah,
me, the
he
winner.
also Macklemore started like for a while. He did that, and then he tried to do more. He did a song that was like with like Foxy Shazam, I think, called Downtown. That's like actually kind of fun. Yeah, about
Oh yeah.
mopeds. And then he like went away for a while, and then he came back and he started doing TikTok videos that were just like, did I just write the song of the summer? And then that album flopped, and so now he just posts about like Palestine. He's just cool now. He's
He's
just
just
chilling
chill
out.
now.
Yeah. He's just posting about important stuff. I think Ryan Lewis like and him like are not like doing stuff together anymore. So I think like that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, I'm on the DracCast now. I'm gonna make a song with them once I'm released from this dungeon.
Well, he should do it. He should do a song with Pitbull. I think would be like a really great career move. Yeah,
I think they should. I think that like in a year from now, like Macklemore is gonna tweet or put it on Instagram his text to like the president of Jordan and like apologizing for winning the Nobel Peace
yeah,
Prize.
no, for sure. Macklemore's like the opposite of Kanye. He's like if Kanye won an award and was like, "Hey Taylor, don't let me finish." Yeah, which is also apparently what Travis Kelce says because he's really into edging. That's what I've heard. That's just the inside scoop that I've heard. Speaking of which, next question on the
Yeah,
PO questionnaire: edging or gooning? You can only have one for the rest of your life.
for the
Yeah,
rest of my life. Listen, man, I'm of the people. I'm of the people.
you're
I
for the
gotta go
people by the
gooning.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, of the people, for the people,
yeah,
by the people, and it's goon
yeah.
for life.
Goon Squad.
Goon Squad. I have to represent my hometown.
Exactly. You're from Goontown.
I'm from Goontown. It was a little known sequel to Toontown that never really took off.
Yeah, I love that part at the end of Roger Rabbit where it turns out that Christopher Lloyd's actually half goon.
Yeah,
Where he plays the judge.
right,
The
yeah.
judge.
Who gooned Roger Rabbit?
I almost said Judge Holden, but that's the guy from Blood Meridian,
Yeah.
like Cormac McCarthy.
You mean Judge Reinhold?
Cormac McCarthy should have written Roger Rabbit.
He should
Also,
have.
it's such a shame.
I think Judge Reinhold should play Judge
It's
Holden.
such a shame that Cormac McCarthy died because he was starting work on the sequel to Blood Meridian, Crypt Meridian, and he just died before he could. Yeah. It's such a shame. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a legend for sure. Did you see
Jackman up at Cormac McCarthy's ranch. Like, give me Blood Meridian, but hold the Meridian.
Hold the Meridian? This show was an excuse for me to flex my impression of the Count from Sesame Street.
Yeah. Up until now, it's been your impression of Bela Lugosi's Dracula.
Yeah. Which is not all that dissimilar, I guess. Which it's crazy also, that's just Bela Lugosi's like actual voice. And now everyone's like, that's a Dracula voice.
Yeah.
But that's just like him, that's just how he talks. I realized before we started recording, everybody at home and in the live studio audience that we have, that Chesca never played Spore. or even knows what Spore is. So I wanted to just
That's
talk about that
true.
at least a little bit before we go. Spore. This is an official call out to EA Games and Will Wright and Maxis. The game studio is all involved. If you're not going to make Spore 2, which you're not because you're EA and you're a shitty company, please sell the rights to me or someone else. I will pay good money. I will use all the buried treasure I found at the bottom of the ocean. No, so Spore Chesca was like this game. It was maybe the people who did like The Sims and stuff. It was really over ambitious, to be honest with you. And the whole idea with it was that you would simulate all of evolution. Um, so you'd start as like
Okay,
you'd
okay.
start as like a little cell, and then you'd eat and evolve enough stuff that you would become like a creature, and you went on land, and you'd hunt and stuff, and you'd eventually gain sentience, and you could like build like a city and a tribe, and then eventually you would like unify your home planet, and then you would like travel into space. So it was kind of like I think the idea was kind of like they clearly focused like way more on certain parts of it. So like the Civ part was just like a really, really watered down, like lazy version of the game Civilization. Um, and like
Okay.
the space parts are like kind of like some other stuff, but like the point of the game was not that. The point of the game was you could create your own little creatures with the character editor. Let me just show you some of these little freaks. My apologies to anyone who is not in the call right now. Everyone listening at home, but just look up some spore creatures right now, just for fun. Um,
I will describe them to the
yeah,
blind and non-present in our
we're gonna do a
audience.
yeah. This is has closed captioning for the visual impaired or whatever. So these are some of the spore creatures you could make.
This is actually a dubbed podcast. You don't even need subs for it.
Yeah. So these are some of the things that like that's like from like the game.
So there's one on the left. He is purple. He has a simplicity, but also a bit of a quiet dignity about him.
Mhm.
He has too many eyes,
Mhm.
and I would trust him to watch my kids, but not for more than a day.
Right, of course.
On the right is Crazy Frog. I have nothing more to say about him.
Yeah, and then there were, of course, like very popular, like sort of trends of things to make in Spore. So I'm going to send one of those to you right now. Um,
Okay,
so this was,
okay.
of course, one of the most popular things to kind of make was a Homer.
The Family Guy.
Yeah, was there's a Family Guy, Homer from Family Guy. Um, and then, of course, like probably the most popular one, the one that I think everybody made because it was just like so much fun was one of these. Imagine you open up your. I hate women probably hate opening up their DMs and getting just having this image sent to them.
I don't even know what this is.
So it's a dick and balls.
Ah, see, I would not know.
Yeah, Chesca actually doesn't know. That's how bad the American sex education is. She doesn't even know what a penis looks like.
Never heard of him.
No. Yeah. Anyway, Spore was fun. It's
You got to edit that and real carefully because people will be very excited to teach me.
oh yeah, I can cut that out. Actually, unironically, I can cut that out. If you,
You should leave it in, but with the joke.
I'm gonna leave it in with this part. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
no. So just open call out. Let make more Spore or let me make it. I have a lot of really good ideas. Like, what if you could make like a funny little guy who wasn't shaped like a cock and balls? One of my favorite things was I like growing up. I was like really into this game. Like loved it, loved it, loved it. Played it like almost every day. And I had a friend who was the same way, who like played it constantly, was super obsessed with Spore. But he was actually a creationist. His family were like super religious, and the whole game is like about evolution and stuff. And so I would like argue because I was like a little annoying. Like I was like a little Sam Harris. Like I was a little like I got into atheism a little too early. My mom describes the day that she walked in on me watching videos of creationists talking about how dinosaurs weren't on Noah's Ark or whatever, and me being like, "These guys are stupid. Dinosaurs went extinct 65 million years ago, but some of them became like she just described that, and it's like that's a bad sign in retrospect." Yeah, so I was like into like that a little too early, and I used to argue with this kid who was like also just like extremely very autistic, I think, and religious. And I'd be like, "You don't believe in evolution? What about Spore?" And I remember him fucking owning me because he was like, "Yeah, Spore's a video game, dumbass. Like, it's not fucking real. I play, I play Mario. It doesn't mean I believe in Yoshi."
I think
He
genuinely
owned me.
every autistic person has like an MK Ultra trigger word, and it's just
Yeah,
is literally just being around anyone slightly more autistic
I
than
think you're
you.
right. I think like that's a huge thing. Um, I think, and I also think that there's like a weird, I think there's a weird, like, horrid cross section between people who have like very religious Protestant parents and people who are autistic. Like, that's like always a bad combination, I feel.
That was me.
Like, having, well, I apologize to you. Like, if you grow up like really Catholic and you have autism, you can just become like a priest. And like, the thing about like, the Catholic priesthood is they'll just like feed you and clothe you and like take care of everything for you, and you can just fucking sit around and like be like, was Pius the 12th right to condemn, you know, John of Nassus to the pyre or whatever, and you can like pull out your big fucking quill and write about it all day. Whereas like if you're like a Protestant, you if you become a priest, you still have to be like a normal guy, which must be just like the worst
Yeah,
existence because you have to be a priest, but you're also not allowed. First off, like you're not allowed to have like crazy relics. Like at most, you're like a mega church pastor, and so you get to have like a private jet. But like that's like very uncommon. You don't get to have any of that shit. You don't get to have like you don't have to wear cool robes unless you're an Anglican, but they're basically just Catholic. You don't get to like have any of that
yeah.
shit. And then like you also have to like still get married and have like a wife, and you like you're expected to like have kids and stuff too. So like you have to have like a wife and kids. Or if like you're a Catholic priest, you have like kind of a you have like an out in that regard. You know what I mean? Like no one's expecting you to like ever have sex just ever again. And if you do, if you like have sex with like a woman as like a Catholic priest, you're suddenly like one of the cool. You get to go on the Facebook the Facebook page. You get to go on the Wikipedia page for list of sexually active popes, right? Like you get to be like a swag historical figure. So you get to do that, and then like
Yeah.
like you get to like live and you get to hang out with nuns, which is like I feel like kind of like me and you, where like we have like a very platonic like friendship where like I'm like all like straight ish guy and you're like a lesbian and we just hang out. I feel like that's like what being like a
Yeah, we're just
I feel like that's
buddies.
what like a Catholic priest and a nun are like.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like two just very like specific type of person, very like weird autistic, and like you have to like clean my room for me while I go read about like fucking like Ezekiel of Tarth and his like writings about whether Jesus was like good at basketball or like just normal at basketball, like whether he had godlike basketball abilities or human like basketball abilities.
What do you think?
Well,
Unironically, could he dunk?
I'm Jewish, so I think he was probably like he was like, we Jews generally, like we respect Jesus's ability to ball, but like we still acknowledge him as like an above average baller, but like still just a very human baller. Whereas like
He's like maybe third draft.
yeah, whereas like Catholics are very into like the idea that he was like good at basketball, but he was like still kind of human about it, but he was better at it than normal because he could be like empowered by God. And then, Protestants vary depending on the denomination. And then Muslims think that he could ball, but like he wasn't like he's like as good at balling as like the Christians describe him as being, but like
Mhm.
not but he's also not the Messiah. He's just really good at basketball. He's like Shaq or like LeBron. Speaking of which, very important pivot questionnaire question. LeBron or MJ? Who's your GOAT?
Okay, listen, here's the deal. I have never watched basketball, but I have watched Space Jam 2.
Yeah.
I have not seen Space Jam 1.
So you have to go LeBron.
I have to go LeBron. I'm sorry. By default,
Damn.
I'm going to be honest. I've never seen real Jordans in real life.
See,
I think my only experience genuinely
your
with
Jordans
Michael
are fake.
Jordan is epic rap battles of history.
Where he's played by Keegan-Michael Key.
My Jordans are very fake. Yeah, that's my experience with Michael Jordan, and he loses that fight pretty
Yeah,
bad.
of course. Welcome back to the Epic Rap Battles of History podcast, everybody. Where we're going to be talking about every episode of ERB in order. Fuck, do you know about, God, I found this guy, this fucking kid on YouTube who does like analyses of Epic Rap Battles of History. And it's
Really?
like, it's the like whitest thing I've ever seen. I'm not gonna name his name because like I feel
No free clout.
good. I mean, he literally was on. He like helped them write an episode, I think, of that show.
Really?
Yeah, but he's just like, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but like, man, dude, do something else. He's got very like channel awesome energy. Like he's got very like
that's one of the people I do know.
He's got very like if
not for good reasons.
If you know Brental Floss, he's got like that kind of energy.
No.
Or like a little bit like like a less sexually odd version of like fucking Bro Jared. He's got like that kind of energy. But like probably not a creep. He's just got like gaming YouTuber from the 2010s era kind of vibes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You know what they should do?
Kill all those guys.
Yes, but then afterwards, I think that there needs to be like an epic rap battle, but like hosted by golf announcers.
Oh, that's a good idea. I think they should have an epic.
Like the battles don't change at all, but like after every verse, it's like, yes, he's approaching the green.
They can do it. It'd be us.
We could do that.
Chesca, final pivot questionnaire question. Would you rather have $5 or dinner with Colm Fior?
Wait, what?
Would you rather have It's a simple question. $5 or dinner with character actor Colm Fior of the Umbrella Academy.
Let me Google who that is.
He's from the He's mostly a Canadian thing, I will say. He's in a bunch of Canadian movies, but he is an American. He's the bad guy in the Chronicles of Riddick. He is. I
know him. I know him from that.
He's
only.
the professor in the Umbrella Academy. He's in an episode of Battlestar. He's in the movie Titus.
He is the guy who made Birth of a Nation and starring Pancho Villa as himself.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say I thought you were just going to cut it off and say that he was the guy who made Birth of a Nation. And I was going to be very confused because I was under the impression that movie was made by a different guy.
Wait, he's Toby the Tram Engine from Thomas and the Magic Railroad.
Yeah, he's also in Titus, which we were talking about the other day. So I think what we're both realizing here, Chesca, is that we would much rather have dinner with Colm Fior than $5. Or $500.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, fuck, I forgot.
I can't even buy regular dinner.
I forgot, he's in Thor, the first Thor movie.
Laufey?
Yeah, he's Laufey. That's who.
Yo, he was T. Kenneth Hassert and also the voice of Joshua in the sequel to War Games: The Dead Code.
I think I saw that. Do you have a dad who made you watch War Games as a kid?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I own that on DVD.
No, I had the same thing. I had to watch War Games. War Games, Highlander, Alien, the first one. Oh boy. The
Badlanders,
the
Solar Babies.
I didn't watch Solar Babies. I know Solar Babies, but I didn't watch it as a kid.
Tank Girl.
Tank Girl is one of my dad's favorite movies.
Time Bandits. I'm trying to think of all of our. Cry for the Strangers.
Yeah, I don't know that one. One of mine was the original 300 Spartans, the one that inspired 300. That's from like the 60s. Definitely watched. Oh, he was definitely way too excited to show me when the new version of True Grit came out. He was like way too excited to show me the original True Grit, even though I couldn't watch the new one. He was way too excited to show me what else? I think there was another one. Who fucking cares? Chesca, it's been great having you here. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, it's been great being here.
This episode went so long, I may actually edit it down and or into 2 episodes. I'm not sure. But
that's fair. I'm not going anywhere. I am canonically trapped in this dungeon.
Yeah, and I'll soon have other guests on the show who can keep you company down there. Yeah, and so let me know, folks, how you felt about the episode, and more importantly, like, if anyone wants to pay me lots and lots and lots of money to put ads for their products and services on the show, I will do it. So Raytheon, Starbucks, Nestle. I find math, like, as a kid, I was bad at math. And I was always confused by mathematicians as like a job, because I'm like, the fuck you gonna do? Count? Like, that's it? You're gonna go and fucking count? Like, you know what I mean? I love
the idea of like an ancient mathematician, but they have not invented any math. Like, somebody just like brings like a handful of potatoes, and the guy is like brain blast, like hands to his temples, staring at. He's like, "There's 5 of them."
he has no idea, and he's just inventing. Dude, imagine being the dude who gets to name 1,000. You're like,
there's never been that much of anything.
Come in here, and they all like gather around in like the village hut in, like, you know, ancient India, and you're like, look, and you just draw another 0 at the end of the 100. And they're like, they all start screaming. Yeah. All right.
Meanwhile, like in ancient Europe, someone invents tin and gets burnt at the stake.
I had the idea like yesterday of convincing conservatives that like the left doesn't want them to eat their own shit as a means of making them all die from eating their own shit.
Yeah, it's the new COVID cure, actually.
It's like they're actually they're canceling. It's like a click. one of those clickbait like video things. It's like so it's a Shadiversity video. It's one of his clickbait like culture war bullshit videos. But yeah. It's like a woke Karens canceling Sallow.
The woke left is canceling coprophagia.